Daniel, first time we've spoken to you, could you just tell us what it's like to join Phoenix Rising?
Yeah, I think growing up like in Arizona, like I already knew a little bit about the club, and so I'm really excited to be here, and it's a great opportunity for me to be here to play in front of my family because I'm from Tucson. So I think it's a lot of motivation to be here and help the team out as much as I can.
How well would you say you've settled in with the group here?
I've settled in well. Everyone, is good, is kind, and I think I've settled in well with everyone, the staff, players.
You mentioned your family. This is your first home game since you got here. Do you expect them to make the drive up and be in the crowd?
Oh yeah, they're gonna drive up. They're gonna be here. It's gonna be a lot of them. So yeah, they'll be here.
You mentioned being from Arizona. If you have one, what's your first memory or association that you can kind of think of with the club?
With the club, I think it would be because I was pretty still young when Phoenix Rising became a thing. So I kind of always knew that I wanted to play there someday. So just being here now is good.
Is there, Daniel? A lot of my family's from Tucson as well. Is there any Tucson-Phoenix rivalry that you felt growing up? And it's different now, right? You're here, and that's what it is. But
yeah.
Was there that for you growing up in Tucson? It's a little different, right?
I think there was a rivalry, yeah, because Tucson is way smaller than Phoenix. So always growing up, we would always have to drive up to Phoenix to play on the weekends, and the Phoenix teams, I guess, always thought they were better and bigger than us. But there was always that going on growing up. Yeah.
You mentioned seeing the club at a young age. How have you seen this team grow even from afar, just being in Arizona for the past few years?
Yeah, well, I think it's grown a lot, actually. You can see, I'm pretty sure you guys had another stadium before this one. Mm-hmm. So, that basically sums it up of how much, the people love Phoenix Rising and how much they love the club. So, I think it's going to grow even more than this.
Daniel, I'm curious. We've seen you play now at left back, and it looks like you brought a lot to that position with your distribution. You're comfortable. It seems like even pinching in rather than always being wide. How would you describe in your ideal world how you interpret that left back role? What sorts of spaces do you like to occupy? What do you feel like you bring in attack and in defense as well?
Yeah, I think I could find myself comfortable in inside and outside of the pitch. I like to send a lot of crosses, early in crosses. So I think that's one of my strengths, helping the team out. And defensively, I think I'm very aggressive, and, I like winning the ball and winning my duels. So, I think, my role as a left back, helping in the team, I could help them in defensively and attackingly. So I think, I'll be able to help out the team a lot.
And you're talking about early crosses. Do you feel like that's maybe more of a strength of yours than maybe getting really wide and overlapping and putting in crosses closer to the end line?
Yeah, I think you could also put that in there. Overlapping. I think I run into the space at the right time. And I make it very hard for the defenders on the opposing team. To kind of, defend that whether I'm inside or outside. I'm always trying to be moving a little bit. But yeah, I like sending in early crosses because I think that's, like I said, one of my strengths, and I think it's a very uncomfortable position to put the defenders in when they play in behind them. So, yeah.
Is that something that this coaching staff, this front office, has kind of asked you to do more of in terms of, hey, when you get the ball midfield, pick your head up and try and put the ball in behind?
Yeah, they've asked for it. Yeah, they've asked for me, to, if I see it, go up and cross early if I could, just help out the team, as much as I can. Yeah.
When you look at that last game then against Tampa Bay, team didn't get a shot off in the first half. What do you think was behind that slow start for us?
I think, we kept a lot of the possession in first half. I think we dominated. We weren't just being aggressive. I think there was times where we could have, gone 1v1 or, just played in the space and behind. I think we weren't making those runs in the first half. And I think second half, we started, being aggressive with our wingers going against their fullbacks and just, being more aggressive.
Daniel, I'm curious about your number, 87. Is there any significance there, or you got to take what you can get coming to midseason?
Nah, actually, that was my first number at Monarchs. So when I was playing USL Championship with Monarchs, that's the number they gave me, and I just fell in love with the number, and I was like, I want this number, for the rest of my career. So I think, that's why I chose the
Sean Evans
87.
took it from you.
Yeah, he had it first.
And
Yeah,
then
that's
you
why
go
I picked
from-
it.
You go from the RSL system to a club like Chivas and sort of that big environment there. What was that like to take that risk for you as a player and to experience that level?
I think growing up, I've always watched, that side of football. So, I think being up to the switch from, RSL to Mexico, it was, a big difference for me because, my family is Mexican, but like just living there is a whole, different thing. Obviously grew up here in Arizona, so something I had to get used to, but, I would say it helped me out a lot to grow as a player because I was still young. So, I think it really did help me like technical wise and just understand the game a little bit more over there.
Did your family ever have ties to Chivas, or was there another club that you guys kind of grew up supporting?
My family growing up, they all had different teams. Like some of them went for Monterrey, Santos, just one of my brothers went for Chivas, that's it. Yeah.
So you mentioned playing in USL for RSL. Even just in that 4 years since then, have you seen any differences in the league?
Yeah, I think I've seen the league grow a little bit with I feel like there's more talent coming in now. At the time I was like 17 years old and I was still learning myself, but as I come back into the league, I see that there's a lot of players with good abilities, and even here at Phoenix Rising, like I see a lot of our players here that have a great ability, and it's really surprising.
Y ahora también, obviamente acabas de mencionar cómo vas de Monarchs a México a jugar con un equipo como Chivas. ¿Qué crees que fue la diferencia en el fútbol de aquí de Estados Unidos en comparación al fútbol de México?
Yo creo que la diferencia tiene que ver mucho en lo físico. Yo creo que aquí en Estados Unidos se enfocan mucho en el aspecto físico, en el gimnasio, y yo creo que allá en México no es tanto de eso. Entonces yo creo que eso marca una gran diferencia, porque si te pones a ver los partidos cuando un equipo mexicano juega contra uno de acá, porque me ha tocado vivirlo, pues a veces te chocan o son más fuertes que tú. O sea, se ve la diferencia que acá le meten duro al gimnasio. Entonces yo creo que eso sería una diferencia.
Y obviamente has estado ahí en Chivas en momentos donde están directores técnicos como Fernando Gago. ¿Cómo crees que te han dado una influencia a ti en jugar? Pues, ¿cómo crees que te han ayudado ahorita a ti en tu carrera?
No, sí, yo creo que me han ayudado bastante. Pues son técnicos que han jugado pues en el Real Madrid como Gago. Entonces, pues son entrenadores que entienden muy bien el juego y te enseñan cosas que no sabías. Entonces, yo creo que sí me han ayudado bastante en cómo entender mi posición como lateral izquierdo y hacer cosas diferentes y cómo mejorar.
Yo te quería preguntar cómo ha sido la bienvenida al club, qué te ha dicho el entrenador, qué tal con los nuevos jugadores, cómo te estás sintiendo de momento.
No, pues al momento me siento muy feliz, la verdad. Yo creo que el entrenador, todo el staff y los jugadores me han recibido muy bien y pues tienen un carácter bien abierto, que te reciben con los brazos abiertos. Entonces yo creo que me he sentido como si llevara ya muchos años aquí en el club. Entonces, pues muy bien, la verdad, me han recibido. Muy feliz de estar aquí.
Háblanos un poco sobre tu juego, como qué quieres traer de tu calidad de jugador a este equipo.
Yo quiero ayudarle al equipo lo más que pueda con mis fortalezas de mis centros, de las pasadas que hago al extremo, jugar paredes con mi interior, con mis delanteros, y pues defensivamente yo creo que pues también defensivamente soy bien agresivo y yo creo pues que se ha notado en la cancha. Yo creo que se ha visto lo que puedo jugar, y entonces pues yo creo que sí, poco a poco me voy a ir agarrando muy bien conociendo el equipo y pues sí.
When you look, obviously you've just really gotten with the group, but what are the signs that you see in training and in the games that you've gotten to play in make you confident that this team can have a really good back half of the season?
Yeah, I think, recently in these last 2 games that I've played and, just training here, I see the quality in the guys. So I really do believe, playing home, this weekend is going to help us a lot to get back on the winning streak. Like I said, there's a lot of quality in the team, and the coaching staff pushes us every day. I've seen, the intensity that they put in trainings, and everybody wants to fight for a position. Everybody wants to compete, and that's the good thing. That's what we need, because it makes it harder for the coaches to to pick who gets rostered, who starts. So I think at the end of the day, that's good for the team, and I think as well as the starters and the people that come onto the pitch, they do their job well. So yeah.